But he effectively said that whoever gets to AGI first will have the technology
to develop superintelligence,
where the AI can rapidly increase its own intelligence.
Yeah. So that last bit is debatable, but let's just agree that. So in Alive, one of the posts I shared and got a lot of interest is I refer to the Altman as a brand, not as a human. So the Altman is that persona of a California disruptive technologist that disrespects everyone. Okay, and believes that disruption is good for humanity and believes that this is good for safety. And like everything else, like we say, war is for democracy and freedom, they say putting out AI on the open internet is good for everyone. One of the clips that really went viral, you're so clever at finding the right clips, is when I said...
I didn't do the clipping, mate.
We always said, don't put them on the open internet until we know what we're putting out in the world.
I remember you saying that, yeah.
We fucked up on putting it on the open internet, teaching it to code, and putting, agents, AI agents prompting other AIs. And the problem is, of course, anyone who has been on the inside of this knew that this was just a clever spiel made by a PR manager for Sam Altman to sit with his dreamy eyes in front of Congress and say, we want you to regulate us. And when you really understand what's happening here, what's happening is it's so fast that none of them has the choice to slow down. The only thing that I may see happening that that may differ a little bit from your statement is if one of them gets there first, then they dominate for the rest of humanity. The way you look at Grok coming a week after OpenAI, a week after Gemini, a week after Claude, and then Claude comes again, and then China releases something, and then Korea releases something. It is so fast that we may get a few of them at the same time or a few months apart, okay, before one of them has enough power to become dominant.
I have more questions than ever. And, by the time that we leave this conversation and I go to my computer, there's going to be some incredible new technology or application of AI that didn't exist when I woke up this morning that creates probably another paradigm shift in my brain. But the other day, only a couple of days ago, he did a tweet where he said, at times, AI existential dread is overwhelming. And on the same day, he tweeted, I resisted AI for too long, living in denial. And I try really hard to figure out if someone like Sam Altman has the best interests of society at heart.
As a matter of fact, so I know Sundar Pichai,
who is
CEO of Alphabet, Google's parent company. Sundar, by law, is demanded to take care of his shareholder value. But if he does not continue to advance AI, that by definition contradicts his responsibility as the CEO of a publicly traded company. Now, but he's a good person at heart. Demis is a good person at heart, so they're trying so hard to make it safe, okay, as much as they can. And that different approach, if you just look at the story, was we are a non-for-profit that is funded mostly by Elon Musk money, if not entirely by Elon Musk money.
So context here for people that might not understand. OpenAI, the reason I always give context is, funnily enough, I think I told you this last time, I went to a prison where they play the Diary of a CEO. But I was in the cell with one of the prisoners, a young black guy, and I was in his cell for a little while. So he has a little screen in his cell. So I pulled it up, our first conversation, and I said, you should listen to that one. And he said to me, I can't listen to that one because you guys use big words. So even with you're about to just explain what OpenAI is, I know he won't know what OpenAI's origin story was.
In general, by the way, even being a non-native English speaker.
So I've actually never said this publicly before, but I now see it as my responsibility to keep the drawbridge to accessibility of these conversations down for him. So whenever there's a word that at some point in my life I didn't know what it meant.
I mean, the origin story of OpenAI is, as the name suggests, it's open source. It's for the public good. It was intended, in Elon Musk's words, to save the world from the dangers of AI. Most of the top safety engineers, the top technical teams in OpenAI left in 2023, 2024, openly saying we're not concerned with safety anymore. And if you tell me that Sam Altman is out there trying to help humanity, let's suggest to him and say, hey, do you want to do that for free?
Well, he might say that releasing the model publicly, open sourcing it, is too risky, because then bad actors around the world would have access to that technology.
One of the interesting tricks is of lying in our world is everyone will say what helps their agenda. You follow the money and you find that, at a point in time, Sam Altman himself was saying it's open AI. My benefit at the time is to give it to the world so that the world looks at it. They know the code, if there are any bugs and so on. Also, a true statement is if I put it out there in the world, a criminal might take that model and build something that's against humanity as a result, based on which part of the agenda, which part of their life today they want to serve. 400 slogans that we all hear that change based on the day and the army and the location and not what the person is saying, but ask yourself, why is the person saying that? Hundreds of billions of dollars of valuation. It is
intoxicating.
I use them to create an emotional attachment to a story that you haven't seen yet, because you may have seen it in a movie.